think so. Oh.
Push up.
But don't.
I got it. Oh, it's my friend Monique. What? What'd you say?
She's not our friend. You can't just play it like that. She wants to.
I called it first. Welcome to the stage, Monique, everybody's friend from Lincoln Class. If you didn't get your CTG appointment now,
That's uncalled for. Call us racist.
Definitely uncalled for.
Definitely uncalled for.
Well, I know that one Masonic blackball vote can prevent someone from joining us. And where are your female reps?
Oh my gosh.
Sue.
They're
children. They're children.
And they're being taught
Sit.
that it's okay to discriminate against women
Suzanne.
and minorities.
They have a lot of functions, they work with the girls.
All right, guys, knock it off out there.
Enough.
Doesn't make it right.
We're not going to do that. If you do,
We're gonna be asked to
we're
wait.
not going to do this tonight. Will you please rise for the invocation with Deacon Rob Tillman from St. Michael's and All Angels Church?
Thank you, Mayor. Mighty and gracious God, we thank you for the many blessings of this beautiful day. We also ask, Lord, to hold tight the family of Ryan Forsyth, who suddenly died last week. Hold his family tight in your arms, his family and friends, and all the students at the Lincoln Park High School. Be with them, Lord. Give them strength to get through this horrible time. We know that Ryan is with you in your heavenly kingdom, but he's leaving a lot of people that are grieving. So just hold them tight in your arms, Lord. We also ask that you use your healing prayers on Tracy Dupre and for her broken ankle. Continue to heal her ankle so she can get back to enjoying the activities that she loves. We humbly ask that you bless Mayor Tobin and the Lincoln Park City Council members gathered here tonight, that their hearts may be filled with wisdom, compassion, and integrity. We ask that your Spirit guide their deliberations so that every decision made may promote justice, equality, and the optimal well-being of all who call Lincoln Park their home. Grant them the courage to stand for what is right, the patience to listen with understanding, and the humility to seek the welfare of the most vulnerable. May your spirit of peace and unity rest upon this council, the mayor, the police and fire departments, and for all who labor for this great city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
This time I'd like to have the Order of the D. Malay come up and lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance. Young men up here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, if you guys want to stay,
Stay, please.
I'm going to read a proclamation.
You're stuck.
Whereas D. Malay International, a character-building organization founded in 1919 for young men aged 12 to 21 who are seeking to become better citizens and leaders for tomorrow, and by developing those traits of character which have strengthened good men of all ages and which strive to develop leadership skills, civic awareness, and personal responsibility among its members. And whereas D. Malay promotes the values of love, appearance, reverence, courtesy, comradeship, fidelity, cleanliness, and patriotism, guiding young men to become better sons, brothers, and future leaders within their communities. And whereas the Order of D. Malay has carried out the aforementioned goals through its programs of athletic competition, social activity, community service, and numerous charitable projects, and whereas D. Malay chapters across the nation and around the world engage in numerous charitable service-oriented projects, contributing to the well-being of their local communities and inspiring positive change. And whereas the month of March has traditionally been recognized as D. Malay Month, celebrating the organization's rich heritage and ongoing contributions to youth development and community service. And whereas it is fitting and proper to acknowledge the dedication and hard work of D. Malay members, adult advisors, and supporters, and to commend their efforts in shaping the future leaders of tomorrow. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Maureen Tobin, along with the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of March as D. Malay Month in Lincoln Park, and call upon our residents to join us in saluting the young men of the Clifford C. Reeves Chapter, Order of D. Malay. We express our deepest gratitude to their willingness to participate and aid in community activities, therefore setting the fine examples of good character of our youth. Thank you, gentlemen.
Come on by so we can all shake your hand, okay?
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for dressing up and coming out.
Jason.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. That's good.
Thank you.
Sorry, I have to look at me. Congratulations, honey.
We've all got them, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
In the
much.
short
The flag, too. Everybody gets the flag.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honey.
Call the roll.
Certainly. Councilpersons Bear?
Here.
Dupre? Here. Nichols?
Yes.
Ross?
Here.
Salcido?
Here.
Zor?
Yeah.
And Mayor Tobin.
Here. Okay, we're going to move on to Mayor's remarks, and I don't have very many. I do want to mention that we did have the fundraiser for the Historical Museum, and it was at Texas Roadhouse, and it was a wonderful event. A lot of people showed up, and it was fun. We had basket raffles, and the food was great, and the friendship was even better. It was really, really great. I also want to give a shout out to the DPS crews. Every place I go, I have someone telling me how pleased and happy they are with the work the DPS has done this winter for us. So thank you, John, and to the DPS guys. You've done an outstanding job, and we are grateful and appreciative. And I'd also ask everybody if you could keep the Christian family in your thoughts and prayers. Doreen, who is a longtime city resident, who is actually retired twice from the city, his husband has just recently passed away. So please keep the family in your prayers. And also, St. Michael's Church will be having a community forum at the high school on March 31st. Everyone's invited to attend. It's from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the high school cafeteria. This is a forum to talk about the program that we're trying to get going that will be informative resource center for the community. So if anybody is interested, these flyers will be up all over the place. And just remember the date, March 31st. And with that, we will move along. We're going to go into the consent agenda. Approved minutes, regular meeting, February 24th, 2025. Approve accounts and claims payable. Schedule special meeting, closed session, collective bargaining. Schedule public hearing, DWSRF and CWSRF.
I'll move.
Support.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And Mayor Tobin.
Yes. Next, we're going to move on to approve the mid-year budget amendments.
Thank you, Mayor. So each year at the mid-year point, we take a snapshot of where we are compared to the original budget. So we try to get a good grasp on where we'll end the fiscal year. There are still a few months left in the fiscal year, so we just try to take a good overall look and see where we may end up. So at the mid-year point this year, we are estimating that expenditures will come in below revenues by $109,515, which would make a contribution to the fund balance once again. And that is if all things in the budget remain constant. We do have a good group of department heads that monitor their budgets. We do have some areas that we are continuing to watch throughout the year. But right now, we are looking to be in good shape once again, and we have had several years now of contributions to fund balance, and they put us in a good, healthy financial position. So just to highlight a few items, the general fund revenues overall increased about $200,000, and some of those significant increases are related to the clerk's office. They did have a grant for the elections for about $30,000. We also received reimbursement for the presidential primary election of $35,000. The fire department received a grant to purchase new turnout gear, which reflected an increase to the revenues and the expenditure side. And on the expenditure side, general fund, the police and fire department expenditure budgets both had increases in the overall budgets related to employee contractual obligations, and the fire does include the turnout gear that was reimbursed by the grant. As far as the other funds, most of them were relatively unchanged, with the exception of the water and sewer fund. They had some adjustments primarily related to grant expenditures and revenues. Overtime has also increased. As you know, we've had quite a few main breaks this year, so that has affected the overtime budgets. So we will monitor those closely throughout the rest of the year and going into next year. As you may recall, we had the deficit elimination plan that we had to file with the state, so we do have to watch that very closely. The Drug and Forfeiture Fund has also been affected by changes in the law related to the marijuana becoming legal, so our revenue throughout the last several years has gone down in that fund. So reductions in the expenditures have been made, and that will continue into future budget years as well. The budget will be monitored throughout the year, and we will continue to watch it closely and try to remain on target to contribute to fund balance for the general fund.
Resolved that the finance director be and is hereby authorized to adjust the generally appropriated revenue and expenditure budget by cost center for fiscal year 2024-2025 as submitted.
I'll move.
Support.
Clerk, any discussion?
Through the chair, just one quick thing. In regards to the drug forfeiture fund, what significant adjustments was made there that there's reductions?
Mostly related to some supply items that don't impact the overall budget. We are starting to have to move, over the last year or so, we're starting to move some of the vehicle purchases out of there back over into the fleet fund. We have been fortunate throughout the years of being able to buy quite a few cars out of there, but that's starting to reduce as we go, yep. But primarily, we're paying for the K-9 expenses and some of those type of items.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have anything? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And Mayor Tobin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Approved mail appeals, Board of Review, Board, BOA. Let's see, Bob here. Want me to read this?
I think he left. So what the assessor's asking for here is an authorization from the council to allow the residents to submit their petitions for review to the Board of Review by mail. The state law allows it, but we have to have a resolution to support that in order for it to be allowed. So this resolution will allow Lincoln Park residents to submit their appeals to the Board of Review by mail instead of appearing in person.
Whereas the city seeks to allow a resident taxpayer to file a protest before the Board of Review by letter without a personal appearance by the taxpayer or the taxpayer's agent per MCL 211.308. Therefore, now be it resolved that mayor and council authorize a letter of appeal to the Board of Review from a residential taxpayer.
I'll move.
Support.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Zohr?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Tobin.
Yes. Next is approve the grant application critical bridge. Mr. Kazoo.
Mayor and Council, John Kazoo. We are requesting to submit 3 grants for bridges for the next couple of years. Background Hennessy Engineers and Link Engineering are requesting approval from Mayor and Council to submit applications for the MDOT local bridge, critical bridge program for grants to replace bridges at the following locations. Number 1, Howard Street over the Sexton Kilfoyle Drain, structure 12501. Frank Street over North Branch of Ecorse Creek, structure 12502. Porter Street over the North Branch of the Ecorse Creek, structure 12503. MDOT did not approve the bridge or any of our bridge submittals in the last year's program. Therefore, Hennessy Engineering and Link Engineering are requesting to submit the applications for grants to replace the bridges hopefully this year, or I should get approval this year. Financial impact, there's no financial impact at this time. Recommendation is recommended that Mayor and Council adopt the proposed resolutions to support the grant applications by Hennessy Engineering and Link Engineering services for the bridge replacement grants.
Be it resolved that the mayor and city council approve the Hennessy Engineering and Link Engineering proposal to submit grant applications for the Howard Street Bridge, structure 12501, Frank Street Bridge, structure 12502, and Porter Street Bridge, structure 12503.
Move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Nichols?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zohr?
Yes.
And Mayor Tobin.
Yes.
The second item before you is the bridge that we did get a grant for, which will be built in 2026, next year. Subject to Emmons Bridge Road over, bridge over the Ecorse River Design Engineering Services proposal. Hennessy Engineers and Link Engineering are proposing to provide design engineering services for the bridge over the Ecorse River. Hennessy and Link Engineering studied the site, reviewed the supplementary documentation. It has a full understanding of the nature and scope of the project. The total cost of the project is not to exceed $63,500 and to come from account number 202-480-818000.
He just read the resolution. Does anybody want to move on it?
I'll move.
Support.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Zohr?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Tobin.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Extend the contract for the tree service.
CHOP has been providing City of Lincoln Park with quality tree removal and pruning services ever since July 1, 2023. CHOP has offered to extend the same contracts for the 2025 and 2026 budget year at their current red unit rates. Attachment A attached to, for the pricing. Financial impact due to the price increases in labor and equipment. There are cost savings for extending the CHOP tree service contract. Funds will be coming from account 202-464-818-000, PS 13, and 203-464-818-000, PS 13. Recommendation is to recommend that Mayor and Council adopt a resolution for the tree services contract extension for CHOP at the current low red unit rates of 2025 and 2026 budget year.
Be it resolved that the mayor and city council approve the CHOP contract tree service contract extension for the fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026 budget years at CHOP's current low red unit rates. Funds will come from account 202-464-818-000, PS 13, and account number 203-464-818-000, PS 13.
I'll move. Support.
Any discussion?
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, 2 weeks ago, this was put up to bid, wasn't it? The
No.
tree service?
No, sir.
It was not?
No, sir.
It's the grounds maintenance.
There is presently a contract.
Trees specifically then?
Pardon me?
This is just for trees specifically, right?
Exactly, yes, sir.
The other one.
To the chair.
Yes.
John, every time we come up to extend a contract, I can't say enough how much I want to see the bid process. And I feel that this time here, I really truly believe the right thing to do is do a bid on this. The last contractor, didn't last but one season. I wasn't happy with how the billing was on CHOP. Because you really can't tell, what size of a tree and how many hours they spend by their billing.
Well, their invoicing is by price, by diameter, measured up 4 feet off the ground, not by hours. The only thing that is billed is emergency work. That's an hourly rate. But to go along with you, this is an offer that they've provided. The downside, if you look at what I did email to everybody this afternoon, last time we put this up for bid, we had two contractors. Unfortunately, it seems like in this area, DTE has locked down all of the other tree companies because they're doing a lot of work in all of their service area. What is scary is the last contractor that we had, I would hope, he is not the low red contractor. But if the mayor and council do not like this offer, you don't have to accept it. This is an opportunity.
To the chair, if I may.
Yes.
John, one of the things that concerns me is that they only start to cut the trees when they feel like they can do it in our city. They do other trees first. We're not number one if we extend the contract, in my opinion. But they didn't really go to work this year till August, September, October is when the trucks started appearing, and all of a sudden they're cranking out every day. But before that, I didn't see the trucks, and I was out every day.
I do have a response for that. We are not CHOP's only clients. They put us into their calendar as their calendar would allow. We're only one of their many contracts. But again, this is an opportunity. They're extending it to you. If this body feels they want to put out for bid, you've got that right.
How far are we along on the list with trees?
The list is dynamic. We've gotten a wide variety or a large apportionment of the list that they were provided, completed and done. But we've had others that have been added since.
Okay.
It's a dynamic
Through the chair,
item all the time.
if I may, just a couple comments. I appreciate the fact that they're extending their prices. We know that everything is going up. The last time, I think we only had 2 bidders, and so that really isn't much of a, exactly, right. People aren't jumping in. But on CHOP's behalf, we had extra work come up for utility work and I believe road construction work.
Correct.
And they stepped up for us and they took care of trees when we needed it done so that we could get those utilities done and the road construction done. So,
If I could add to what the councilwoman has already said, they've come in when we've requested, because we've maybe had emergency storm work, they've come in to help and/or do it for us. When we've had to go into rear yards to do sanitary point repairs, they've come in to take those trees out so that we could do that. And we've also had to take down trees because our paving contractor needed to have some trees removed so that they could get their paving equipment in because of the width of the roadway. And they came in and stepped up for that. But again, I'll reiterate, and I think this is my 3rd time, you don't have to take it. This is an opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else have anything to say? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Bear,
Yes.
Dupre,
yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
No.
Zor,
No.
Mayor Tobin.
We're going to go on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. A few things to update you on tonight. We have made some significant progress on the new website for the city. So we have started the on-site meetings with departments, and those will continue on. We're starting to do some major overhaul and cleanup of the pages for each department. So we're working through that and trying to get rid of any old outdated information, and we'll continue the process. The goal right now is to have the new site up and running by sometime this summer. So we should be good there. And then just a quick reminder that as we are approaching spring, April's coming up, so we will start yard waste pickup the first Monday in April. So that, I didn't write the date down, but it's the first Monday of April. And then we are working with Priority on doing some recycling education for the community. We'll probably be reaching out to the high school to work with the green team over there. So we had a good meeting last week with Priority on that subject. So we will have some more information coming out to Mayor and Council here soon on that. Other than that, we are continuing work on the budget. And then I've been working with the mayor on some grant funding opportunities. So we're working through that process as we go. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
To the chair. I just want to thank you for the invitation to attend that meeting with Priority and their environmental specialist, AKA recycling expert. It was very informative, and I'm very glad to at least see the ball start to roll a little bit.
Yeah. And we are seeing some of our information on our website related to recycling and garbage pickup, so we're working on cleaning that up too.
To the chair? Lisa, does it fall under you for the flags on our poles? The signage or whatever, you know, where they're attached by the bars?
So DPS takes care of that, but if we can,
You go around Southfield, they're all coming apart. They're flying.
If I may, on a regular basis, we do have to change them out because the flags go through quite a bit of bad weather. And when they do start to fail, we replace them all.
Cross from Kroger, and then,
This is basically on Southfield, the intersection of
Yeah,
Southfield, Court
yeah,
Street,
yeah,
and
that's-
the individual city hall buildings.
okay.
Eric, if you're talking about the poles, the flags on the poles, that's the DDA, or the EDC. EDC is taking, they're in the process of, they have the letter and the form is almost finished for people to repurchase those banners to go on the poles.
Thank
So
you.
that should be starting up by the end of the month.
It just looks bad.
Right, they need to come down and be replaced. And
Yes.
There's new hardware, so they should be much more sustainable than what we have now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? No? Okay, then we're going to move on to the police chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the past quarter for the police department patrol, they took 9,088 calls for service. They handled 253 crash reports. 53 individuals were injured during those accidents. They issued 2,798 violations, made 428 arrests, adding another 4,500 violations under selective enforcement. We completed 420 hours of training. Detective Bureau investigated 434 complaints, closing out 358 of those. Our SRO, school resource officers, handled 205 complaints. Special operations investigated 84 complaints. Our traffic officer issued 227 violations. Animal control / parking enforcement investigated 1,112 complaints, issuing 1,393 violations. We currently have one reserve officer we're looking to add to our roster. He is currently enrolled in police reserve training at Schoolcraft. He is scheduled to graduate from that in May. Community policing is huge for our department. Obviously, everybody knows that. This past quarter with the holidays and stuff, that's one of the busiest times of the year. We stay very, very busy. It's one of the most satisfying one for our officers too, with the shopping with the hero, the Goodfellows, Secret Santa, stuff like that. That's great. We had, in addition with that, we had our skate with the cop. We participated in the fire department, police department against the Red Wings, which was great. Teamed up with Red Cross for blood drive. March this month is reading month. Sergeant Nicholas has scheduled 80 classes that he's reading to throughout the city. So he's very, very busy. We had McPolice Night 2 weeks ago and raised $550. That money will go towards our community policing programs. Upcoming, we have on Wednesday, we have a shop with a veteran hosted by Meyer. We go and have lunch with some veterans, and they provide them with some funds and make a good day of it. We often have some of our veterans from the department come and meet and greet with some of our veterans from our city. I have a charity wrestling event coming up. Police department with April is Autism Acceptance Month. Sergeant Nicholas is designing a tumbler cup right now that he'll be selling for $20. And the proceeds that we make from that will go towards Mixter School. We have a blood drive coming up. Several other things planned. Animal shelter. Over the past quarter, they brought in 41 dogs, 14 cats. Today we have 14 dogs and 3 cats at the shelter if anybody's interested. If you guys follow their social media, you know they're very active with the fundraising and stuff. During that past quarter, they were able to raise quite a bit of money, which they are using to spay and neuter the animals, as well as giving some of them vaccines. Kennedy, last week, she had applied and received a grant for $5,000 for the spay and neutering of the shelter animals. That's going to run from February to September of this year. Again, her and the rest of the workers there do a fabulous job. Operations, over the past quarter, we received our body cameras and new in-car cameras, so we're now up into the techno times. They're working out great. We have one officer in the field training program. She's in her fourth and final phase. She is set to be done on March 27th. She previously was our cadet. We have a recruit in the police academy right now, almost about halfway done, scheduled to graduate May 8th. He's a Lincoln Park kid looking to give back to the city. We're also in the process with another young man who's a Lincoln Park kid. He's a certified officer now, so that will be one less person we would have to send through the academy. We're excited about that if this works out. And we have a new cadet starting next Monday. He also has Lincoln Park ties, and his ultimate goal is to be a police officer. Over the past quarter, we had one officer resign and move on to another department, and in February, Sergeant Galbraith retired. He is planning on moving out of town. We have a sergeant's promotional test scheduled for next week to fill Sergeant Galbraith's position, and that'll be offered to our top 12 officers. With these vacancies, we are currently 3 officers down. We are accepting applications, we're getting them, and there's still grant funding if we're able to find some people. Mr. Kudrick had sent me an email last week regarding the forfeiture funds that were mentioned in the mid-year budget. I see he's not here tonight, so I'm just going to fill you guys in on that. He requested just some information on that. 2015, 16, and 19, there was changes in the forfeiture laws. One of the biggest changes was a mandate that criminal charges and conviction be added within a set period of time, which made it very, very difficult. 2003, pursuant to a federal court decision, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office forfeiture unit ceased on taking requests for warrantless vehicle forfeitures under statutes that we previously would forfeiture, such as drug asset forfeiture, identity theft, nuisance abatement, and State Omnibus Act. This decision brought down from the court dramatically reduced the forfeitures that we would institute through the prosecutor and circuit court. Hope that clears it up for everyone. That is a completion of my report. If anybody has any questions.
Through the chair. Thank you, Chief, for allowing the animal shelter to grow exponentially. I'm very proud of it. It's very close to me. It used to be our shelter was not something to be proud of. And I want to thank you for that, for allowing this to happen.
All the young ladies working down there, they do
Yes.
a fabulous job.
They do.
One less headache that I have, have good trust in them that they're doing the right thing, and most of the time. But
Thank you.
thank you. I will pass that on to them as well. Hearing nothing, I'm done.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to do citizens' communication. Anybody would like to address this body? You have 3 minutes.
Sue Sacheda, Downriver Sunday Times. I am pleased that DeMolay has now integrated. I am surprised that your new member is not sitting with the 5 of you and that he doesn't have the special suit yet. But my real concern is that you're teaching these young men that it is okay to belong to a group that discriminates against girls and women. Separate is not equal. We saw that that's the definition of apartheid, separate but equal, and we know it doesn't work. The Masons are teaching the DeMolay young men that it is perfectly acceptable to have an organization that excludes and discriminates against women. And I really hope that they realize when they go out in the work world that they are going to have bosses and managers and CEOs that are women, so they should learn to work with them now when they're in their teens. And I see one of the Masons over there is smiling, and I know that you can discriminate against anyone joining a Masonic Lodge with one blackball vote, and you don't have any female members in the Masons, and I wonder what you're afraid of. Why are you afraid to let women into your organization? Are you holding on to your toxic masculinity with every grip that you can? What are you afraid of? I'm really disappointed.
You address us and not the
I'm very disappointed, Mayor, that you heard me say the same speech last year. You were sitting in a council chair, and when I talked to you today before the meeting, you claim you didn't remember that.
You didn't talk to me the day before the meeting. You talked to me about 45 minutes before the meeting, and I told you that I would address the issue. I addressed the issue. I was not going to do anything 45 minutes before the meeting. And I think that you are out of line addressing this now in front of these young gentlemen that are just trying to better the community. And I am going to cut you off now. This is done. And come back next year and see how things change.
It was a year
Good evening, my name's Debbie White. I'm curious. Since we received calls about removing cars off the streets for snow emergencies, and we received calls for, I think I received one recently about the hydrants being flushed out. My question is, the rains are going to come, and the ground's going to thaw. Are we going to get updates on the pump house? Because those, the pump house, to make sure that the sewer water is flowing, that it's not coming up in my basement, would we get a call to say, hey, the pumps aren't working because they're not replaced yet, right? I mean, that's my curiosity. I know it's going to take time to get the pumps fixed. But in the meantime, what do we do? If the city has the ability to give warning, I think we should be warned.
You want to speak on this, John, or do you want to talk to her after?
Either way.
Huh? Okay, John will address you after the meeting.
Okay, I'm just, like I said, I
Yeah.
thank you, but I am a concerned
Yes,
citizen,
there's things put in place, but John will address you after the meeting.
because I don't want to deal with another flood.
I understand.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to address this body? If not, we're going to move on to oral reports of the mayor and council.
Mr. Kazoo.
Oh, yes, John?
Prior to the meeting, I handed out our coal patch map, let's call it, and it was brought up on a coal patch in Goddard. We are waiting for permit patch, so we'll make a darn good effort tomorrow to patch Goddard.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
John, the permit patch is on Emmons, right? I'm just trying to make sure I know where to look.
Yes, the permit patch that I'm going to call doing a demo on
Yeah.
is on Emmons, and we have patched from Wyandotte, or let's call it the Emmons Street Bridge, to Dix. We ran short of 3 individual potholes filling at the Dix end of that segment or that process, and that is done. We're trying to now patch around, which school was that, Lisa? Captain School. And both of those are going to be demo areas. That way everybody can watch this new product, see how well it's doing. But while we were waiting now for another load of perma-patch, we will do Goddard tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Now we're going to move on to oral reports of the council. Start with you, Council President Salcido.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick thing, and this is in regards to, companies that, want to give us rates from 2023 or 2022. I get it. I get it. It's rolling the dice, right? We don't know if there's up-and-coming tree right here in Allen Park or Lincoln Park that maybe wants to get their hand in the pot, but they can't. And, if the tree company would just resubmit their bid, maybe they'd get it anyway. So what's the problem of putting it out to bid? Obviously, the council decided not to go that way, but in the future, we should use caution when we keep giving bids to the repeat customers that we have. Nothing against them, but it's an open market, and I think people should have the opportunity to bid. And that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Lillian?
Thank you, Your Honor. I wanted to start with my ZBA report, but my ZBA report is that there is no report because the ZBA didn't have a meeting because there were no agenda items. And then I just want to say thank you to our residents and friends, staff, fellow council for supporting, of course, the Mech Police Night and the museum dying to donate at Texas Roadhouse. I think both of them turned out to be a big success. So thank you, everyone. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Casey?
The Planning Commission approved a daycare for 4111 Fort Street with condition and direction from Planning Commission and our contract city planners, proposed 72 children. It's kind of big, so we're looking forward to that. And I'd like to take this opportunity to tell everybody, please take extra care. The illness that's out there right now, I'm just getting over, and you do not want it. Please be careful. Wash your hands, hand sanitizers, group gatherings, please be careful, because it took me 3 weeks to get to this point. So, and with that, I'll say good night and God bless.
Hi. I'd just like to start with the process that our CDBG is in. The deadline for submitting applications have come and went, and Monique is now in the reviewing of application process, and she will be taking that to the Community Improvement Commission, where they'll be bringing their recommendations eventually to the council and our body. So, we will have that coming up down the road. And this past Saturday, I do believe I attended my first ever high school theater production, because Councilman Nichols and his wonderful wife Ilea invited me to watch it with them. I don't get out a lot to the museums or plays, but I did thoroughly enjoy this one. The cast, the crew, the director, the lighting, it was all really incredible. They did a great job. I did read the program that Eric has a copy of in front of him, and I had a chorus line. It was their 50th year anniversary, and it was a cornerstone play for when it was written back in 1975. And I certainly did enjoy myself and all the hard work that the cast, crew, and the director put in. And then I'd just like to touch on, as the city manager talked about, we did have that meeting with Priority and their recycling expert. And a couple of the big takeaways to me is our customer agent, Paul, says under no circumstances should both the recycle and the garbage bin be going into the same truck, period. And if anyone sees that, they can go back 4 days with their cameras if we have a day and an address to investigate. Now, he did tell me something I found interesting. Sometimes if their normal recycling truck is out of commission, they use what they call a rear packing truck to do recycling, which in layman's term, you might think it's a garbage truck picking up recycling bins. But if it's only picking up recycling bins, then it's supposed to do that. It should never pick up both. Paul was very adamant on that. And that is all I have. Thank you, and enjoy the nice weather, and hopefully spring is here to stay.
Thank you, Jason. Eric?
I'd like to, first of all, send my condolences to the Forsyth family. Ryan was in the 12th grade at Lincoln Park High School, passed away on 3/5 of this year due to an unexpected brain bleed. He will be sorely missed. I'd also like to say thank you to DeMolay for the young gentleman coming here tonight and doing community service. I'm very big on our youth doing things in the city and being active in the city. With that, I'll say good night.
Thank you, Eric. Jason?
All right, a little bit of information from the assessor's office. March Board of Review began today and will meet again Tuesday and Thursday of this week. This is the final time for anybody to submit a appeal for the tax year. If you're not on the board, if you have not written a letter, contact them at 313-386-1800, extension 1239. Again, you got Tuesday and Thursday this week, and that is the last time for an appeal this year for your taxes. CIC welcomed 2 new commission members last meeting. Monique explained the CDBG process to them, also to myself, the mayor, and the other members that have been there before. And the Junior Rails Veteran Registration, again, Junior Rails Veterans, your registration is tomorrow at 6 to 8 p.m. at our building. So go Junior Rails. I know that baseball season's coming up here. They're starting April 26th, so everybody go out, support the youth. So with that, everybody, good night.
Thank you, Jason. I would just like to say, thank you all for attending tonight. Thank the council, thank the department heads. You guys are all great. It's beautiful out. It was 71 degrees today, so it is coming. I know we're all very, very happy about that. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
Resolved that the meeting be adjourned at 7:47 PM.
Support.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Dupre? Yes. Bear?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And Mayor Tobin.
Yes.